Texas stays hot on the trail 2 years in a row. They land 3-star offensive tackle Max Wright. He is the third commitment in the Texas Longhorns class. Let's talk about that a little bit. So 3-star, 6'7", 290 pounds. He attended Texas Junior Day. What is that? 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago now. Steve Sarkisian was not there, so you didn't get like this bombardment of commitments like Texas fans thought. And honestly, we got a couple last year at Junior Day. And immediately after. This one took a while, but is well worth it. This guy, in my opinion, and I said this when the Junior Day happened, I thought he was the most underrated guy coming to Texas. Big human being, like I said, 6'7", 285 pounds, 85-inch wingspan, 11-inch hands. He moves pretty well for his size. And at the time we talked about that, guys, he had not received any stars from 247. He was a 0-star recruit or no star recruit. He is currently a 3-star recruit. With those measurables, you have to be. And Texas, I said, this is the guy I wanted. I think this guy has the most upside of anyone under John that we have a really shot getting. So this is a really big get by Kyle Flood. I'm not saying this guy comes in here and starts right away. He's not going to. But he has the potential to be a 2, 3, 4-year starter at Texas with the year off if he decides. I think he's probably a 2 or 3-year starter, honestly. I don't think he's sticking around for 4 years. But this guy is a phenomenal get for the Texas Longhorns. I think there's a chance he could play guard if he can't play tackle, but I think he'll actually work out a tackle. When you watch the tape, when you watch his huddle tape, very powerful human being. He does a little bit with the pass rush, doesn't have great footwork right now. That's the main thing I see. That's really the only thing I see. I see great power with the hands. I see great power with the hips. I see the ability to move. He just doesn't move as well as I'd want him to at this moment. He's much better run blocking right now than he is pass protecting. But guess what? That's up to Kyle Flood. Once you get into Kyle Flood's, mastery of the offensive line, which we've seen him do here at Texas, Kyle Flood changed Christian Jones. We looked at Trevor Gooseby thrown into the mix this year, and he's done phenomenal. So I think this is a really good get for Texas. I think this is a good choice by Max Wright. Kyle Flood got in early here too, guys. Kyle Flood got on this guy a year ago when really no one else was recruiting him. I think maybe SMU at the time was the only school recruiting him, and he decided to go to Texas over SMU. He did attend SMU's Junior Day. Hopefully we can keep him in the mix because to me, this guy's going to end up a 4-star recruit. I think this guy has a very, very, very high ceiling, and the floor is also very high. Like, I really don't see how this guy isn't at least an average offensive line starter at the University of Texas. I would be surprised if he doesn't start at the University of Texas. And at this point, that would be, if you start at Texas, you could basically start anywhere. That's how good our offensive lines have been under Kyle Flood. So really good get for him. Like I said, needs to get better on the speed rush, especially, but good in the run. Kyle Flood, like I said, jumped on very early. It's going to be very interesting how this class finishes up. But again, guys, in the 26 class so far, we have our quarterback in Diabell if you're able to hold on. I would expect to hold on to him. I mean, he's recruiting for Texas as we sit here today on January 5th. So I think we're good on him. Max Wright is now on the boat. You have Chris Stewart, the wide receiver in the boat, speedy guy, also from Texas. So what else do we look at the offensive line room? Because I think that's where I'm going to go next. What is next there? The last 2 years, guys, we've only had 3 and then 4 commitments. I'm expecting a bigger class this year. It's a must-get class, in my opinion, at that position. I think linebacker is also a class I'd like to see a bigger class in with what we're going to lose with Anthony Hill. But offensive line, John Turntine, we've talked about him. This is a must-get for Texas. He is in your backyard. He is one of the 10 best tackle prospects in the country. I think he's one of the 5 best tackle prospects in the country. He loves Texas. He's been on Texas's campus like more than a handful of times. He attended Junior Day. If you can type it in right here, him being asked about Texas, his face lights up. So to me, if you don't land this guy with him being in the backyard, him loving your team, something went seriously wrong here. So please, Texas, land John Turntine. Next up that we'll talk about, Felix Ojo, also from Texas, offensive tackle. I don't put him in the same class as John Turntine. I think he's a good player. I think he'd be a really good player, but John Turntine is special. But Felix Ojo, definitely a guy that can play tackle. I think he can play guard too. I think he's got that movement, mobility, and everything going with him as well. It'd definitely be a really big get. it'd be awesome if we could land like another 2022 class, because you saw what that 22 class did. To set that up again would be phenomenal for Texas. And I think landing Turntine and Ojo will be a phenomenal start. You're, like I said, I think you're going to end up with 6. That's my guess here, is that 6 is going to be the number for this offensive line class. Samuel Roseborough, we haven't talked about him. 6'5", 285 pounds, guard from Florida. His mom actually just moved to Texas for work. She is located in Austin for work. So that's a big one to me. Wanted to stay home to finish this high school career in Florida. I have no issue with that, but I think Texas is the leader there. That would be phenomenal. If you could land, like, imagine John Turntine, Samuel Roseborough, and then you also have Max Wright in the fold at some point. That'd be a phenomenal class, and it could only get better. You have Zayden Krempin from Texas as well. I think it comes down kind of like the Michael Terry thing. Michael Terry was open to playing multiple positions at Texas. That's why he came to Texas, on top of obviously NIL. But the main thing, you're going up against Nebraska. They have the money too. So the main thing was, is he willing to play all over? Is Zayden Krempin willing to play center or guard? He does not have a future here at Texas. He doesn't have the measurables what Kyle Flood wants to play tackle at Texas. And then you're also, like I said, going after John Turntine, Felix Ojo, Max Wright. You really don't need a tackle. You need a guard or a center. So Zach Krempin, does he want to play guard or center? If he does, I think he ends up at Texas. If he wants to play tackle, I think he ends up somewhere else. And I wish him luck with that. He's a 4-star from Texas. Nicholas Robertson is another guy. I think he's the Max Wright of guards in this class. I really love the tape. He's a special player. He's only a 3-star right now. I think he ends up being a 4-star in this class. I hope he ends up at Texas. We will see about that. I believe he was at junior day as well. And then Toa Katoa, 3-star from Texas as well. Another good player that I think will end up as a 4-star. I don't love him as much as Nicholas Robertson. I'd rather have Nicholas Robertson personally, but he's a very good player, and I would love to have him in the class. If we get both, I will take both. And then Sam Utu, offensive tackle, California, 295 pounds. This is really the only out-of-state guy other than Roseborough that I think we have a realistic shot with. I know there's a guy from the DMV that's a 5-star, Inacho. I don't think we have a shot with him. But Samuel Utu, I'm very excited about. Multi-sport athlete that plays volleyball as well. So that's phenomenal mobility tools that you can use as an offensive lineman. Guys that can play basketball like Cameron Williams did, guys that can play volleyball, guys that played soccer. I love that type of thing. A lot of moving around, and then also have the power to play football. So that's a phenomenal job if we can land this guy in this class. I'm really excited about him and his prospects here at Texas. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below. Check us out every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Texas lands Max Wright. It's a big day on the 40 acres. That is the 3rd commitment the Longhorns have added in this class. I think we're only going to get more, especially offensive linemen here. So please check us out. We'll talk about it. Thank you, guys, and hook 'em as always.